Is Wayne's World not a modern invention? Older users of this site may recall the Bill and Ted Wayne's World series of movies of the early 1990s. They were mindless but fairly amusing, and their eponymous characters spoke in a unique vernacular, part stoner, part surfer, part moronic generation for. One of the features of this sub-language was the use of the word not, usually written as not, a convention which served to negate the content or validity of what had been said previously. For example, or. Does anyone know if this usage is a modern invention or whether there are antecedents in ancient or more recent languages which are similarly employed to, willily or otherwise, invalidate previous statements spoken? I'm not necessarily looking for usages of not itself, but any similar linguistic devices.
The Oxford English Dictionary includes this form of not as an interjection, writing. Colloq. Perhaps influenced by nit adverb, cj. T, she'd lower in j. E, lighter in Almer. Speech, 1993, 68 213-8. In later use, popularized by Mike Myers and Dana Carvey in the Wayne's World sketches on the NBC television program Saturday Night Live from 1989, and especially by the spin-off film Wayne's World in 1992, used humorously following a statement to indicate that it should not be taken seriously, usually because the idea expressed is untrue or unlikely to happen, or sarcastically to negate a statement made immediately before. There are actually uses of this in the 1800s. 1860 G. Elliot Mill on Floss 3. Vi. 90 She would make a sweet, strange, troublesome, adorable wife to some man or other, but he would never have chosen her himself. Did she feel as he did? He hoped she did, not. 1888 Cincinnati Times star 26 July 2/2 Of course White Wings was mourned because he was hissed. Yes he did, not! 1893 Princeton Tiger 30th of March 103 An historical parallel, not. After these uses, Wayne's World popularized the phrase in the late 20th century.
In defense of Five Arcs' initial association of the interjection not with the Bill and Ted comedy franchise, I note this chronological listing in J. E. Leiter, Random House Dictionary of Historical American Slang, 1997. 1991 Bill and Amp, Ted's Adventures, CBS TV, Smooth Move, Dude. Not. 1,992 meters. Myers et al. Wayne's World, film, Wayne'll understand that right away. Not. Still, as Cinchona points out, Wayne's World is generally credited with the resurgence in popularity of the usage, which in any case is more than 100 years old. In addition to the Princeton Tiger instance that Cinchona cites, Leiter notes such modern-sounding instances as these two. 1905 E. P. Butler, in Almer. Magazine, September, 499, certainly, me dear friend, Flannery. Delighted. Not. 1908 in Canemaker W. McKay 75, that confounded rarebit I ate, is making me sleep lovely. Not. You can confirm Leiter's findings in the Google Books entries for Ellis Butler's short story Pigs is Pigs and for Mark Gunn, Zounds, A Browser's Dictionary of Interjections, 2005. Besides identifying the 1908 example as being from a Winsor McKay cartoon, presumably part of the Dream of the Rarebit Fiend series, Dunn points to an even earlier instance, by George Adday, that uses not similarly. From George Adday, The Fable of What Happened the Night the Men Came to the Women's Club, in More Fables and Slang, 1900. Now Josephine was right there to see that everybody had a nice time, and she did not like to see the prominent businessmen of the town dying of thirst or leg cramp or anything like that, so she gave 2 or 3 of them the quiet wink, and they tiptoed after her out to the dining room, where she offered refreshments, and said they could slip out on the side porch and smoke if they wanted to. Probably they preferred to go back in the front room and hear some more about woman's destiny. Not. Another fairly early instance appears in Shirley Seifert, The Nicest Boy and What the Smartest Girl in the Office Did to Him, in The Delineator, July to August 1920. Isn't it a cold night? She, Kitty, said snippily to the gloomy, immaculate young man who called for her at 8 the night of the party. So, said Benny, not committing himself. I think it's very warm myself, she said 5 minutes later. You just said it was cold, the young man reminded her. Don't you know your own mind? My, how polite you are, not, said Kitty.
No. I used to hear it in a somewhat similar teenager-themed skit on SNL with its first cast back in the late 70s. Gilda Radner played Lisa Luetner and Bill Murray played a nerdy boy named Todd.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.